Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi, hi, Alex.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. We are fine, Alex.
Listen,
Uh,
what a
Alex,
special moment, yeah?
yeah, really special moment. This is podcast number 28. This is the first podcast we are recording in English. And this is the first podcast that we have a guest who will speak with us in English. and and the first podcast when we decided to invite Alex as a person who is working in a very interesting company who was always on the opposite side, sales community. This is the podcast about the moment when we need to connect with Alex and understand what works, what not works in sales processes, and that is why he's here. Alex, nice to meet you.
Yeah, please
Very
welcome.
nice to meet you too. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks.
You know, guys, I have a feeling that this is not our first podcast, I guess. Seems we had a chance to meet before, yeah, like. But anyway. Um,
Yeah, need to say that I know Alex very well. We were connected previously. We even had a contract in old staffing business. But Alex, this is not the story of this discussion. I mean, in this podcast, we want to actually give you an opportunity maybe to little bit give your background, what you are doing, where you're working, what is your stuff that you are dealing with right now.
Yeah, so I am a senior engineering manager at Google. I live in Munich. I'm in AI, ML, big data business, basically. What my teams are doing is large scale insights for merchants on their how they can improve their performance on Google, what they can do to get more sales basically on Google and maximize their investment. Before that, I worked for about 10 years in the video game industry. I worked for sports betting as a CTO. And yeah, here I am. I had the chance to work both with internal teams and also with external teams. So yeah, I'm very happy to share my experience. So thanks for having me.
yeah, impressive.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, so we can start, Anthony. We can do how to say our stuff from our side and maybe ask Alex about something interesting that could be interesting to the community itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's rock and roll because it's early morning. Everyone having a good coffee, I guess. So yeah, and after this, let's start our conversation. So yeah, like like the most topics. It's of course related how everyone from sales dark side reaching you, Alex, over on LinkedIn. And it would be great to hear your, like might be weird stories, how sales managers pitching you over messages or emails. And it would be great to hear your, let's say, how you behave on this,
Oh, it's a good question, right? So we're talking about cold calls, basically.
Cold
People I do
calls,
not think so I
yeah,
don't have a
emails.
relationship with.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so yeah. Well, I think it depends very much on the approach, right? And obviously, I have a pretty busy schedule generally, so I can't really answer to every request that I have. So I do a triage. Um, on the other hand, but I think that when something captures my attention, I'm actually replying. Yeah, uh, catches my attention in a positive way, of course. And I
You're a
think that
good person.
yeah, well, and I think that the trick here, what catches my attention, is how the person reached out to me, basically. Has the person did a bit of background check, right? For instance, if somebody tries to sell me Java developers that I work in a C# company,
Yes,
yeah,
Max.
I wouldn't reply to that, and probably I would be a bit like, yeah, okay, not really done a job before, right? So I probably felt a bit weird about that. On the other hand, if there is an interesting, approach, something that somebody who actually read something, it tries to match, the email to or the message to my profile or to the profile of the company that I'm working for, there's a higher chance to actually have a reply, at least to engage in a conversation to find out more. Of course, it's also a bit about timing. Sometimes it can be a good message, but there's no need. But in general, in that case, I do reply. I say, yeah, it's very nice to meet you. I'm sorry that I can't help you right now. We don't have, let's keep in contact. That's
Interesting. And what channels, what do you think works best when people approach the people like you in your position? What do you think?
it's a good question. For me, LinkedIn works generally, right? Why is that? I find it a bit creepy if somebody writes directly to my personal email address or my professional email address. I mean, it's like, okay, why do I read this? Where did it leak? So
Yeah.
that's a bit intrusive. On the other hand, if it is in a safe space, public space, LinkedIn is an example of a public space. It feels a bit more. I don't like the word safe, but it's a bit more. Let's call it safe. Safe in the sense that it leaves me space to reply. It's not intrusive.
Yeah, this is, I guess.
Similarly, it's the same for the phone. If somebody, I mean, I keep my phone on the silent all day, so I'll probably not reply if somebody tries to reach me on the phone, especially if I don't have the phone in my. I don't know, but that's my personal. I don't know how other people do. That's my personal style.
I guess not only you, because to be honest, I receive not daily, but like weekly, 5, 6 calls from some product company trying to sell me some products related to my website or some kind of SEO optimization and stuff. And usually, like it's super pushy from the first second. Anton, hello, and immediately start reading a script. No any conversation, no any like, hey, how you doing? Like, how's the business going? Yeah, Anton, like, tell me more. Like, are you ready to listen me? Like 30 seconds. Are you free now? No, immediately. And I just started, like, think that this is an attitude because you just receive a call, receive this message, and like, that's it. I did my job well, like, and I'm done. So like, let's call to the next person. Yeah, and on LinkedIn side, and especially if we're talking about you, this is really need to have a space and more freedom just to ask the right question. The more conversation starts from the normal question. And as I know you, Alex, and you, Alex, I mean, my mate from the podcast, good contracts starting from the normal conversation without any kind of pushing, pitching methods.
Exactly, right? It's about leaving space to the other person to engage. I mean, it is suffocating if somebody really gets into your space and tries to push you. Of course, you have a negative reaction to that. You try to gain space. And how do you do that? You distance yourself. You block the email. It can go as bad as actually blocking an email address if the message is too intrusive, right? I mean, that's why there is the concept of spam, right? If somebody tries to sell you, put it, okay, block.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm always crying, like, from the receiving messages from sales our like colleges when they started presenting yourself, not talking about you, showing that you in terms of like context, like presenting yourself. I'm Anton. I'm working with this. We do this. Are you open for a call in 15 minutes, Alex? And in this case, like, it's absolutely like missing the opportunity to build this conversation further. So absolutely not not a perfect job ever.
Yeah, in the end, it's like a human relationship, right? It's about building the connection.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you try, if from the first moment you try to sell something to somebody, you miss this opportunity to build and enjoy the relationship with the other person. And of course, if somebody forces yourself on you, you're going to have a sense of rejection. And I think that this is a really interesting topic from the, and it's not only about, it's not about sales only. It's about human relationship. If the person in front of you tries to build a relationship with which the person enjoys, so it's not about the transaction. It's about enjoyment, being, in that relationship, enjoying to talk to you. You have a positive reaction to that. It
It
may
is.
or may not lead later to a transaction. This happens in companies, outside companies. I think it's a very basic human thing.
Yeah, I agree. Alex, and if we will evaluate kind of the approaches that sales managers approach you, what kind of the connection do you prefer? I mean, what it should start? I don't know, to check something about you, check about your company or current state or something like that. What do you think?
I think exactly what I was mentioning earlier. It's this like the basic thing is to do the homework before.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you go into an interview, right? And you don't know anything about the company. That it's not going to succeed. Right? It's going to be
It
a
could
very
be
short
weird,
discussion,
weird.
basically, right? If anything. But the more you know about the person, I'm not saying, being like knowing everything, every detail. Oh, Alex, you were in school with them. By the way, that can help if there is a human in the loop, somebody there in the relation, right? That can help a lot. That's a different topic. But it's not about being intrusive, but at least know something about the person in front of you, about the interest that that person has, about the situation, the job, something like a conversation opener to to just get the sense that, okay, this is not a mass market that has been sent to 10 million other people. If it's sent to 10 million other people, why should I reply to it? I let the other 10 million reply. It's okay. That's the fun.
Yeah. I see that we always get back to one statement: quality against quantity. So this is what comes first right now in the sales approaches. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think we are in this, in a bit of a, currently the economy worldwide is a bit stagnant, or there is a bit of less growth, right? When there is less growth, people tend to, I believe, prefer quality over quantity, exactly as you say. When there is a starvation for services, you tend to buy whatever, right? Now the bar has increased, right? Just think about 5-10 years ago, right? There was a
Oh
growth,
yeah.
a huge growth in the recruitment market, right? Companies
Absolutely.
were just
Yeah.
hurrying to make the numbers. Everything went. Now everyone, the recruitment process takes longer. Everyone is thinking 3 times whether to make the sale and so on. So the need for quality has skyrocketed. I think that the sales approach also needs to adapt to that, because not everything goes anymore.
That's my, I guess, next question to you, Alex. For instance, if you decide recently to join a sales department, I don't know why, but like, let's imagine, and in your department, it's some group of people. Yeah, sales, of course, people. And based on what we discussed right now, like, what would be your immediate improvement in the internal situation?
Yeah, I don't have experience. It's just my thoughts. So I'm
Yeah.
improvising right now. No, I'm not trained, so I may be very, very wrong. But I think that probably a core thing is to make sure that everyone knows the product. I think that's really, really important, because when you're going to a customer, especially if it is an educated customer, this customer, if is interested, will want to know things about your product. And I find it a bit unprofessional if, you go there, you sell, the person asks in front of you, asks you a question, is the first conversation, and you say, oh, let me defer, let's set up another call with a specialist. Okay, just wasting my time.
Unfortunately.
To be really, and I think that you build a lot of credibility because it's all about trust, right? In the end, I think there are like two types of trust. One of them, the personal trust. Yes, the person in front of me, the nice person, I like engaging in the conversation. We have a relationship. The other one is the task-based trust. Is the person competent? And you need both. Deferring directly to somebody else without knowing the product, it actually decreases the second type of trust of the competence. And it will be like a discussion. Yes, I spoke with a very nice person. Unfortunately, it won't be able to get my stuff done, right? Because if I engage in such a transaction, it's also my neck engage, right? I buy something. I want to make sure that I succeed. So it's not just about having a beer and having a good fun. It's about making sure that the business succeeds and the transaction is going to end successfully, and not only the sign off, but actually what's coming after that is successful. And here is the competence part that is really, really important.
Yeah, why I'm laughing right now, because it's kind of situation when more salespeople trying to build the relations based on beer stuff, drinking with the clients and thinking that this is a background that they covered both sides well, and
Yeah, you have both, I believe, right? And not necessarily. It's a personal connection. Very important. Nobody wants to do a transaction with somebody you don't personally like. And maybe you do. I mean, there is always. But also, the competence, it's even more important because right after the first impression, what comes is, okay, can we get the job done?
And it's delivery.
The company I'm hiring for, can they get the job done? If the sense in the first, couple of hours meeting and so on is that the answer is no, that's not going to succeed. And I think that the salesperson there, it's the face of the company. It's how the person represents, the capability of the company to actually get the job done. And that person needs to show competence.
Interesting. Thanks, Alex. I was thinking when you were saying about that the person should 100% know the product, I was thinking that if we can imagine an intro call with you, what could be maybe no-go for you to move forward with the company or the person, especially with the salesperson, and what is very important during this first connection with you via call? What do you think?
Having the call already, there is already an engagement, right? It means that the first steps have been completed successfully, right?
Yeah.
I have already a sense that, okay, there is the capability here. It's worth investing more. Now, it depends very much on what the call is about. Having a demo, for instance, of the product, having the salesperson do the demo, or actually even bringing in the call a specialist that can do the demo. That's okay. The sales what's important is to actually prove capability in that first face-to-face meeting.
Yeah, for instance, if sales bring to this call tech guys, would it be much more appreciated from your side, for instance?
Yeah, it can be. Of course. I mean, because I would get the sense hopefully, that's a hope, that at the end of the meeting, the company is capable to deliver on mine. And I can understand then the role of the salesperson to build the connection, right? To open the door.
Yeah.
But this doesn't, but in order to get to that meeting, which is already a more in-depth meeting, I would like to have a lot of questions answered. The first steps and in the first steps, competence needs to be shown as well.
Yeah, in this situation, I guess also important from you just to see who will be in tech side, I mean,
Mhm.
this person friendly, how they communicate as well, like the level of tech background. And I guess if Sale bring it in not in the first second, I mean just in a early stage of introduction, I guess it's also kind of conversion you into a client more stage than just just discovery of who you are, what we do, like where we much better than usual and stuff like this. So you more can concentrate on your like really specific question, if you have, of course.
But it's also a bit of a dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say that, somebody approaches me. I was giving, I think, in a previous conversation, we had this example with the Croatian company that approached me, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
and I had a very good, their approach was like, Alex, I see you're living in Germany. Can you help us get some insights on how to sell in Germany, right? And that was the kind of their approach, right? And that triggered me in the sense, yes, okay, so person did the job. Maybe I can help them, do this thing. So, okay,
yeah,
I'm happy to help. I want to help, right? I checked the profile. It seems like, yes, they seem serious. Let's do this, right? Um, so I went in the call and we had a very good conversation. It wasn't a sales call. I
mm-hmm.
remember them. If in a future time that person comes, I hear an opposite, and I told that person from the beginning that, look, I'm not working in Google with external companies. So if you want, just to have a chat with somebody, happy to
Yeah,
help. But if you try to sell me this, I will not be able to help. The person said, yeah, okay, sure. No, I just want to know your opinion. No. If that person then would have abused and say, oh, here it is. Here's a sales pitch. We're like, which is not why we did this conversation, right?
yeah,
But because we
destroyed everything.
focused on a conversation, of course, we discussed, I asked questions about the company and so on. I wanted to understand a bit better the context. I would probably, if I get an opportunity or I hear about somebody who is searching, I would probably pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, look, I have this. If you're interested, have a call. I can make an introduction because you made a good impression on me, right? It's also a type of calls that can happen. But the
Yeah,
approach was in, asking for help, knowing my situation, and also understanding that I'm not in a position to be sold something on the spot. So it was a very, very smooth discussion. And also the person showed a lot of competence and he knew everything about the product and the company. So it's a good, meaty conversation.
that's the level what we need from salespeople.
Yeah.
Of course, the person, now, what does it mean, competence? Let's unpack a bit, because I wouldn't expect, of course, the salesperson to know the architecture unless it's selling. Okay, that's another thing, right? They were selling services. I wouldn't have expected for that person to be able to explain me the architecture of one of the products that they sold. I understand the situation of the person, right? But on the other hand, if the company is specialized in the cloud architecture and consulting and that, I would want to know some architectures. I would expect the person to explain me that. So it is about the domain, the person to be specialist in.
Okay.
I mean, there is understanding, right? And it's not like, oh my God, the person needs to know everything. No.
Alex, by the way, I know that you were in this position too many times when you were choosing the vendor, but
Yeah.
if you will be choosing the vendor now, technical vendor for some processes, maybe in your current job, for instance, what would be the most important triggers or intent for you to choose the right vendor?
Is it solving my problem? That is,
Yes.
I think, is if I am hiring this company or this service, is the company going to deliver, and is it going to make me successful?
Golden word.
Because it's both, right? It is and me and my company. the alignment are in both directions.
Alex,
I think that for the personal part is important, right? Because I want to hear, okay, I will be successful that I can go to my CEO and explain, look, this
yeah,
has been
I'm
a
good.
success.
I'm good. Yeah.
Alex, we want to say you thank you about this because this is our mantra that we always say to salespeople that you need to solve problem and you need to gain something with the customer. Only in this case, customer will go with you. So thanks for this. Really.
Yeah. As I repeat always, as a sales, it's like people from the dark side, like bringing the lights to client side. And unfortunately, many salespeople just cover personal goals. So I'm good, but what would be next with the client, it's just a matter of another department. And this is not my job. So unfortunately, so yeah. That's
I want you a little bit go further and maybe just to change the level of here from the sales process. But if we already choose the vendor, and it would be important maybe for a lot of the companies who are from the tech side, I mean, and we have a situation when something went wrong in terms of maybe resources, maybe the development cycle or something like that. And we have some critical situation, and Alex already choose this vendor. What would be important? How to solve such situation with the customers? What technique or maybe what kind of the strategy do you prefer?
Before diving in, I was thinking, I had a thought which I think it's important. It's not only about the person that is in front of you that you need to gain as a sales, right? There is an organization behind. So it may be, for instance, I'm a CTO, let's say, for a company that has a certain amount of people, right? I can be very friendly, have a great relationship. Yeah, I will be the decision factor in the end. But there is an architect behind me.
like, hey Alex.
I will go and speak and say, hey, what do you really think about this? So I think it's also important for the sales organization to try to understand a bit better that it's not just the person, but how does the organization look behind? Who are the people that the person in front is going to involve in the decision? And try to get a bit more details, to go stretch a bit further than the surface.
Yeah.
Today our conversation, I guess, covers the whole 28 our topics previously. Yeah, because it's really solid and complex conversation right now going on. So yeah, I'm really enjoying, guys. As we moving further, tell me really. I'm really curious about how you build your own relations, how you found each other on this, really crowd market.
It was a long story. I will start, Alex. We were approaching the company when Alex were working, but I, as a salesperson, was communicating with his colleague.
Okay.
And the deal was a little bit slowed down in some period of time, and we didn't close. But then it was a moment when I was researching that the Alex is the right person on the deal, because it was my fault initially not to choose the right person to move this forward. But when we got connected, everything started to move faster. I do remember this time.
Yeah, I think that was very interesting, right? Because we were then searching to build a studio in Ukraine. That was the overall right. And then, of course, there were several companies that we were in the RFP process with, but we didn't have a very good sense. It felt like, it's a bit too generic, a bit like, first interviews with people that were sent by the company were like, doesn't feel great here. There is something that doesn't really work. And then I met others, and I think that beside having a very good conversation, like very matter of fact, conversation, talk like directly. Okay, what's the problem? What do we want to achieve? And so I think that the main thing that Alex put to the table, the first person that he sent, for interview, were really, really good. So
Okay.
he knew he understand my need, so I felt understood. And then the offer that was sent was really matching. And it's a very interesting aspect here, because I think that one of the first conversation, Alex said that, look, we're not going to offer you this person because it's already engaged in a different project. But I'm sending you for you to try to benchmark and understand whether this fits your need. Can you have a conversation with that? I said yes. And the answer was yes. That person was very much feeling. So yeah, me as a customer, I felt understood. Said yes, this company can deliver. Because there was a match between, there was nothing generic, it was personalized. We were searching for some very specific profiles. And then, of course, the next couple of, it wasn't like only one person. Okay, we have this star employee here, we're showing everyone likes him, and then, no. Sometime after, pretty short, as you said, it didn't take long, the candidates that were coming were really good. I said, okay, we saw 2, 3, 4 people already. Let's go. This is good. This has a solid baseline. And I think that was very, and it was the other thing, we started, right? And I think that another important thing, Alex was involved beyond the sales. So it wasn't, oh, I just signed here, goodbye, I'm going off
see
to
you
the next
later.
thing. No. No, we had a continuous relationship. If I had a problem or I had a question, pick up the phone and say, Alex, look, I have a problem here. Can you help me figure it out? Of course, in the meantime, there are other people involved and so on. Of course. I mean, the relationship develops, right? But I knew I have a phone number of a person that can solve problems for me. And that is really important. I felt that the Alex and his company was invested not only into signing off, but actually delivering. And of course, in the end, we built a team. It went very, very positive. It was I think, one of the most successful transactions in which I've been involved.
I congratulate you. Congratulate you
As you can see,
both.
we're still discussing. So we're still having, years after, we're still having a relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, Alex, you are super right here. I really appreciate that we once got connected and still continuing this. And this is why you're here in this podcast. And the value of the information that you are bringing, it's worth the previous podcasts. This is true. Yeah, cool. Alex, what do you think? What the most important skill a salesperson should have when they starting sales career or they are in the middle of the career? What you will be evaluated as the most important skill?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously it depends. I mean, as a customer, I understand whether the person in front of me is at the beginning of the career or the middle of the career or end of the career, and my expectation from that person would be very different. So I would, while everything else, still matches, I would expect the person to, have a good engagement, not a default engagement, right? That's the first bridge to build, right? Cross. That I would expect if a junior sales, for instance, would have gaps in the product knowledge. I would understand if there are some, the approach is not the most personalized, or there are some mistakes, right? Or, as long as there is a good intent, I detect a good intent, not just, okay, as long as I detect care, basically, I can go through there is goodwill. Obviously, if this senior sales executive approaches me and doesn't know what that person said, and the discussion ends there because the expectations are much higher. I think that is there, and I think that especially in this, because it is a contact sport, right? It's in the end, it is a form of leadership. Sales is building relationship, trying to get influence and so on, right? Sales is a form of leadership, about influence. There should be the how it's called, this empathy that I would expect it there.
And
And
actually,
desire, curiosity, right? What does it mean? This curiosity, interest, personalized approach. From there we build. Yeah. If I'm not satisfied with the answers, technical answers, whatever, I can say, look, can I speak with somebody with a bit more experience in it? That'll be fine.
Empathy. Yeah. I like it. Cool. So we need to ask Anton. I guess we need to ask about the AI and the tendencies that we have right now in the sales.
should we?
I guess yes. Alex, we were thinking to ask this, but anyway, we need to do this. There are a lot of the stuff that coming on from industry and in sales as well. When AI, when artificial intelligence helps to do some processes right now. But what do you think? If it would be a period when we can, how to say, to replace salespeople when they're selling something to anyone in some period of time, because there are some tendencies and also speeches about this. What do you think?
I don't think it will replace, right? Because in the end, it is, first of all, it doesn't matter whether machines are in the middle. It's the end users of every transaction is to benefit a human. So the end customer is the human, right? And machines will never be able to know what the human, I mean, it can profile the human, right? But in the end, it's a human, everything is for the human benefit. So the end customer, we're not making a parallel life, machine for machine and humans for human. No, we work together. So, but the end benefit, everything we build, bridges, houses, it's computers, cloud, and whatever, it's for the benefit of humans. So in the end customer is going to be a human. It's important to reach the end customer, which means that no matter how the processes in between evolve and so on, it's always good to understand your end customer. And understanding your end customer and build a relationship with the end customer, it's a human thing. I don't think we are there in which I can build a relationship with a computer. I can ask interesting questions to ChatGPT, but not like
When I was 10 years old, I was thinking to build, but to be honest, it's unsuccessful.
It's very good, for instance, to index a database of features or something, but I would expect a human to be able to tell me about that. Of course. Where I think it helps, and it can help even further and further, is doing research about the customer, right? Because it's one thing, for instance, we were talking earlier about LinkedIn. I'm going to just continuing this, but I think it's really a good way, to be developed at larger companies, products, and so on and so on. And ask, ChatGPT, this is a profile of the person. What is the person interested in? What could, and then ChatGPT will probably give some good answers there. I actually tried with ChatGPT to see if it works. Yeah, it can give some good hints, but I don't think. But you still need to check, right? Because it may hallucinate. This is A, and B. I don't think that it will replace a message to the person. And I personally, that's my opinion, but it may change depending on how technology evolves, right? I think that we can, even writing the message with ChatGPT or Valve or Oh, Bard, let me say Bard in Gemini.
We know
Yeah,
why.
even
We know
writing.
why.
Even, oh my God,
We
I hope
understand
nobody
why.
listens to this.
No
Yeah,
worries.
even
No worries.
writing.
A funny moment. Okay,
Of
go
course, it's
ahead.
ChatGPT only on this podcast. No,
Sorry about that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, even writing to the message with Gemini, right? I learned is I think if you start with a Gemini, it will anchor you in a message that sounds very good, but has a bit of no soul, just a bit. At least that's my sense right now reading, right? And I think that actually because it needs to have a soul, I would actually try to write the message myself. For sure, no grammar mistakes. I mean, you can use. I would use the AI to fix any grammar mistakes, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't. But I would prefer. I would have a perfectly crafted machine-generated message. I would prefer to see, maybe a bit not so perfect message, but to see that it's a human that wrote. That is for the first iteration. Right? Well,
Thanks.
yes, after the introduction, and then you can say, look, here is the Gemini generated list of specification for our product. Yeah, for sure. I can read that, right? I can understand, right? But yeah, here's a summary created by Gemini about our product that we think that would fit your needs, right? Okay, I can understand that. I still think there should be something, that shows the human interest and not, it's that feeling of being mass marketed, that you're not part of an automation process. The more you use AI, the more you feel that you suspect that you're part of a mass market. Yes, okay, personalized, but there's personalized to 1 million people just by reading their LinkedIn profile, right? But I will just discard it because I said that I'm just one of the fish in the big pond. Right. I let other fish there. Bye.
I'm 100% agree here that for the research topics, it helps a lot. And we still face with situations. Yeah, really. And I'm using it for this as well. And it's interesting when we are faced with people still that they are not using this technology. We are entered to the industry, they are working in this industry, and you're asking, do you know the problems of the industry? They say, yeah, just a couple, but why didn't you research this? We have a lot of the tools, we have a lot of the information.
Yeah.
Even if you ask AI, it would give you a lot of background cases around this. Yeah, interesting.
And a lot of ideas for questions, a lot of ideas for how to make introductions and so on. I mean, it's an amazing resource. I do think, right? If you do a bit of research, what should I ask this person? What would be good strategies for approaching? I'm selling this. Here are the specs. What would be something to hook? Here's the person's profile. This is our product. What would be matching points? There is a lot of things, but in the end, I think that you should take that and actually run it through your brain, and then
Yeah. As an insights. Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. Cool. Interesting.
So I want to say just not to you guys, but like to our sales community guys, don't worry. You will not be replaced in a year. Yeah, because I guess even if AI model and this AI chats, assistants and stuff like that will be much, let's say not 99% accuracy, but much better than right now. Anyway, to talk with a normal sales person, it would be much appreciated.
Yeah,
Oh,
much
yeah.
better. Guys, we have already 44 minutes. I guess we are in very good pace. And one of my personal question, maybe, I'm curious, Alex, you're working in Google. How this company is different comparing with others? Your personal opinion on this?
I love working at Google, to be honest. I really think it's a really, really great company to work for. And I think there are some things that distinguishes Google from many other companies. I think that the most important, everything seems to be thought out. So whenever something is done, any process, everything, it doesn't feel at all arbitrary. It doesn't feel like somebody decided and then let it be done, right? It feels that there is depth, there is research, there is thought, there are numbers behind everything that we do, which gives a sense of trust in the processes, in the company, in your peers. I think that really makes it really special. And I know that there is a bit of a cliche. It's what's the best thing? It's the people around you. But this is true, actually. It's not a cliche. I think that the recruitment process in Google really looks at making sure that some qualities, one of them being being friendly, being able to connect with people, to have depth of thinking, is there. So and this also gives a lot of trust in your peers, because you know that they are kind of in the same mindset, which makes the human relationships very, very, very easy to build inside the company. So you feel like the sense of belonging is pretty strong, because it doesn't feel arbitrary. Yeah, it feels like, this has been thought out. I understand. I trust. I think that, and of course, the scale of the problems, technical complexities, and so on. This is interesting. I'm working in a team which does ML and AI and big data. These are topics that are personally interesting for me. And I like the topic that I'm working on. That's a subjective.
Thanks for feedback. So
But
based on
generally,
that,
I think it's really great. It's really a great company to work for.
Cool.
so based on your feedback, I will continue using Google search. So no worries.
Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini as well.
Gemini,
Yeah,
yes.
Gemini. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex.
No, I'm actually using it myself. So I'm actually using both for work inside and for my personal. Exactly. For this, what we were speaking earlier, research.
Actually, Alex made sales mate. We need to activate, turn on in our G Suite settings Gemini. Yeah, as a part of our package. So yeah,
yes,
need to try.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you here. Interesting. Everything what we just discussed. It was kind of, from one hand, on some topics, eye-opening and the proof that we are going to the right strategy with you, mate, Anton. But at the same time, there are a lot of sense in this discussion in terms of the values that Alex bringing to the table today. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, Alex, thanks again for your time. We know that you have a tough schedule, and yes, thanks a lot for this golden insights. I guess from all our Ukrainian community, guys, you should comment this video and say hi to Alex in the comments below. So yeah, bring some love to this. Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. I would like this right.
Yeah, we also, thanks a lot,
Alex.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It was really nice talking again. It was really nice. Thanks.
Thank you, Alex. So yeah, okay. So I guess from our side, that's all. We really appreciate this timing spent this morning today, and we'll see you soon live on our podcast number 28. See you soon. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye bye.